Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the SWUS. The Big Nasty is with us to talk about golf. What tournament is coming up this weekend?
We actually got two tournaments. It's an elevated one, the Wells Fargo Championship at Quail Hollow in Greensboro, North Carolina, I believe. And then there's actually a new tournament because this tournament for the first year is one of those elevated ones. Okay. So we have a second tournament, which is the Myrtle Beach Classic. So we got one in North Carolina, one in South Carolina.
And these are both PGA events?
Both PGA events. So, you'll see that the Wells Fargo's like the top 65 in the world, stacked field, no cut. And then anybody else who, doesn't meet the mark for that tournament to be eligible is going to play in this other Myrtle Beach Classic.
Got it. Okay, so the Wells Fargo would be the top tier players.
Yeah, so, I got actually a little bonus pick when we get to the Myrtle Beach Championship, but there's not much action out there, at least in FanDuel. I'm not sure about some other sports books, but everything that we're going to be talking about, I think, is pretty much hammering home, the Wells Fargo.
Wells Fargo, right? Yeah, as far as last week, Minwoo Lee made a run there, but as we were just talking about, he missed a putt. He missed easy putts for birdie on 17 and 18 of the final round that would have kept him in the top 20. And if he made both of them, he would have tied. He would have been up in the top 10 had he made both. So two missed birdie putts in the final couple holes, man.
Yeah, the epitome of bad beats right there. Yeah, listen, he was there all week. It made it entertaining, but in the grand scheme of things, fell just a hair short.
It's all right. It happens. All right, so let's talk about the Wells Fargo Classic. What do we want? Why don't I pull up the odds for this right now before we get started? I want to have everything in front of me. Odds. Here we go. Wells Fargo Classic, and it looks like is Scheffler playing?
Scheffler is not playing. So you're
playing.
Saying somebody else has a chance.
Yeah, someone else has a chance. So let's start with let's see where Rory's at. Looks like Rory's at plus 650, plus 700 to win this one.
Yeah, so Rory is he's on my guys to watch list. He's a past champion, so he plays it well. And when you talk about the mold, so to speak, of what the Wells Fargo calls for, you really, really have to be a good driver of the golf ball, and it pays to be long. And Rory's probably the best driver on the PGA Tour. So no doubt that his odds to win it are probably, the worst in terms of he is the odds-on favorite, especially being a past champion as well.
Got it. So let's start out with like a nice top 10. Who do you think has some value here?
Yeah, so I got Max Homa. Max Homa won it 2 years ago. Just last year, he finished top 8. And I think Max Homa right now on FanDuel is going at plus 200 to finish in the top 10. Correct. I think that that's kind of a guy I'm honing in on. He's been playing pretty well of late. And, I'm a big fan of if the course is, you have good history on the course, I think you usually have good vibes and it translates into good golf play. Yeah,
I can see here Max Homa plus 2,000 to win, plus 200 to finish in the top 10. You actually get a plus 210 on Bet365 for those of you that have that. And top 20 is going at minus 125, so you have to lay a little bit of juice if you want to bet the top 20 for Homa.
Yeah, I mean, and we talked about it just at the start, right? So, this is an elevated event, so in terms of top 20, there's only, I think, 65 guys in the field and no cut. So even if he doesn't get off to the hottest start in the world, top 20, I kind of like that play.
Really.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you want to look at kind of a safer play, I think top 20 is a good play. But, I'm going to try to push the envelope a little bit and take him for the top 10.
All right, cool. So Max Homa, mark that down here. All right, who do we want to move on to next?
So moving down just a couple of spots, a guy who's been playing pretty good golf of late, a guy who, if you look at what PGA Tour experts are saying in terms of how they're betting, Sahith Theala is right up there. I like Sahith in the top 20. You could get him right now in the top 20 at plus 100. So pretty good for your money on that guy. in terms of, I'm on datagolf.com is kind of where I pull all my information from. And Datagolf, according to their model, Sahith Theala has a 3.0 chance to win the tournament. The highest odds to win the tournament is Rory McIlroy at 8.7%. So, not an awful, number to be looking at, especially if you're getting him plus money in the top 20.
Yeah, and it looks like DraftKings has plus 105 for Sahith in the top 20. So I actually placed a bet on Sahith in the Masters. Didn't pull through. So I am familiar with them. Plus 105 top 20. I may have to consider that. Especially since, as you said, there's no cut and it's only 65 golfers. So you're essentially asking them to finish in the top half of the field.
For sure. And then if you actually pull up, like I said, I use datagolf.com and they have their whole kind of model and they take into a lot of different accounts. But looking at Datagolf's odds for Sahith to finish in the top 20, they have him at 44.3%, which is, 8th best in the entire field. So obviously they like the way his game fits this course.
Right.
I mean, and if you're looking at, again, plus money in the top 20 and they're saying in their predictions it happens 44% of the time. I like that odd.
Yeah. That's about as good as you're going to get as far as with these golf bets that are tough to find value at times. Do you have another value pick, or do you want to go right to the long shot?
So I got two other interesting plays, and depending on how you feel about these guys. So what we just talked about before, really important to hit the ball long and straight on this golf course. Two guys that also fit that mold, Cameron Young and Wyndham Clark. Wyndham Clark, past champion here, been playing really good golf of late. If it weren't for Scotty Scheffler, Wyndham Clark would have 2 more wins already this year. He's finished runner-up to Scotty twice. So I really like Wyndham Clark. Again, past champion. You can't deny when somebody plays a golf course well. I like that a lot. So those would be two guys, that I'm kind of honing in on. I didn't really do a ton of deep dive into what their top 10 or top 20 yards are. But, if I was
Wyndham Clark's expensive. I was just looking at it. Plus 1,400 to win, plus 160, 150, depending on your sports book, to finish in the top 10. So that means the odds makers agree with you that he's got a real good shot to put out a good finish.
I mean, like I said, golf is really a game of when people are going through hot streaks, and Wyndham Clark is pretty hot right now. Like I said, if Scotty Scheffler wasn't on planet Earth, he'd have 2 wins in the last month, and we'd be talking about how good Wyndham Clark is. But instead, we're all bowing down to Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah, I mean, understandably so. And then the other guy you said was Cam Young. Let me pull up his.
Yeah, Cam Young.
All right, so it looks like Cam Young, you could get some better looking prices. Plus 250 to finish in the top 10, plus 2,500 to win for Cam Young. Okay, so that you gave us 4 guys. I think I'm going to trust that golf data model. I think I'm going to place Sahith, and I might go with Cam Young. Which one has the long hair? Is it Cam Young or Cam Smith?
So Cam Smith is long hair, mustache. He's now on the Live Tour.
So Cam Young. Okay, I'll bet Cam Young. I won't bet Cam Smith ever.
Yeah.
I just won't do it. I won't bet Victor Hovland ever either.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to get. Listen, I like Victor, but in terms of trusting him with my money, I don't think I'm gonna play that bet.
The guy folds on Sundays.
How
about a long shot?
Yeah, so again, like if you look at, if we talk about the mold or what, Data Golf predicts, a good chance for somebody to win, number two in driving distance and accuracy for the entire field, Ben Hyung An. I don't know how to exactly spell it, but A-N is the last name. All right. This guy is second on the tour in driving distance behind Rory McIlroy. And this Data Golf likes Ben on in terms of how the course is fit. And so his odds are probably amazing.
Yeah, I'm looking for it now. He didn't come up with what I had. Okay, I found it here. So, all right. So his English name is spelled B-E-N, but his actual name, I see it right here. I'll put his odds on the screen now. 80 to 1. It's looking like. That's serious. That's serious work.
That's some serious groundwork to lay. But like I said, in terms of, driving distance, which, Data Golf thinks that, driving distance is a huge thing for this golf tournament. He's number 2, right behind the guy who's the odds-on favorite. So if there's a good long shot, I think that could be, sprinkle a little dusting on there.
And I was actually wrong. It's not 80-1, so I was looking at the wrong thing. I have the right thing here. It's actually 40-1, plus 4,000, plus 4,500 on BetMGM to finish in the top 10, plus 320, 350. So it's not absolutely ridiculous.
No, I mean, and again, he's been playing pretty good golf of late. You don't get into these elevated tournaments if you're not playing good golf.
He's got to be considered a top 65 in the field, right?
Correct. So the way the PGA Tour does these new elevated events is I think it's top 50 in the world, and then it's, the hottest 5 guys on tour, and then the next hottest 10, and then it gets cut. So I think it's, like I said, top 50 in the world, then the next, basically 15 hot guys that are on tour. So it falls somewhere in that category.
When you say hot, you mean who's playing well recently, right?
Correct. Correct. Yeah. So you earn a certain amount of FedEx Cup points, and, based on those FedEx Cup points, that basically, dictates whether you fall into that category or not.
Sounds cool. Anything else to share before we close?
Yeah, so like I said, we got 2 events. FanDuel doesn't really have anything on the Myrtle Beach Classic, but I'll throw this one out there. If you do look at the Myrtle Beach Championship, Andrew Novak is a hometown kid. He's been playing pretty good golf of late. He grew up, just outside of Myrtle Beach. And, I actually have a personal connection to Andrew Novak. So I'm going to sprinkle a little maybe money on Andrew Novak to win. That's my bonus play of the week, the Myrtle Beach Classic.
Andrew Novak, I'm seeing right here on CBS Sports, they have him as plus 4,000 to win the Myrtle Beach Classic. So 40-1. He is on there. And you know what? That's only the 1, 2, 3. It's only about the 14th most likely. So he's up there.
Yeah, I mean, so it's really anybody's week when you're talking about when there's 2 different tournaments, right? So you have basically all of your big time names, your big time players are all playing in this elevated event. And so, why not? The kid has definitely, if you probably go look up his last, 10 tournaments, he's made probably almost 80% of his cuts, and he's been playing pretty good golf. So, like I said, I got a connection to him personally. I think he's kind of back in his home state and home era, and I think he could get it done this week.
He has made the cut in 7 of his last 8 tournaments.
Yep.
There you go. All right, so Andrew Novak. Sounds good, man. So we're all set for Myrtle Beach Classic and the Wells Fargo Cup, it's called?
Wells Fargo Championship.
Wells Fargo Championship. All right, thanks for joining us. We'll be back next Wednesday night for next week's tournament. Let's have a good one.